Welcome to another episode of the Bandwagon Podcast, and today it is a jump off edition. The jump off is basically a space where I can just talk about the latest um, news items, topics, anything that I want to just get off my mind. This is my space to do it, and I'm really thankful that, to be fair, the feedback that I get from jump offs is pretty good. It also is sometimes when people have promised me to come onto the podcast, skank me last minute, and then I have to kind of fill in a weekly episode. So, but you get the point. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff that has come out in this last month or so, because it feels like it hasn't been that long since I've done the last episode. But I'm turning 40 in the next few weeks, and I feel like my body is starting to slow down and give up on me. So backache started kicking in, hips are hurting. When I'm playing football, it's taking longer to get back from injuries, and it's really, I'm getting in that old way of thinking. But then it doesn't really help when you're hearing things that when you were a kid you didn't really give a shit about. It's like now on the news, you put on the news and it's about energy crisis, heating crisis. Like, if somebody's about to put on the heating at your house, it's like a national fucking event, because you're just thinking about, hang on, you're counting the money just getting burned away. You're double checking to put +1 or your Hive on when you're coming home just to make it snug. I mean, you got cars now who are starting to charge you to heat your seats. It's like, what are you? What, you've already paid for the car, but now they want you to pay extra to use the heating function on your seats. What a load of shit. Then like interest rates are going up, and but the impact of that actually has a real knock-on effect in everyday conversation. So like, as a guy, sometimes you go into the pubs and you get introduced to other people, and you're like, "Oh, how you doing, mate? You all right?" And they say, "Yeah, how's things? Oh, I'm with this guy here. Let's call him, I don't know, Raj, right? Good day, Raj, how's it going? Everything fine?" And then Raj goes, "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, I work for the council. I do this, I do that." "Oh, that's brilliant. What do you do?" "Oh, I got my job. I do this, that. But I'm into property in it. You get me?" "No, I don't fucking get you. What you mean? You're into property?" "Yeah, I got houses, man. I got 10 houses." This is in with 3 minutes of a conversation. At this point, I don't give a shit. And in my head, I'm thinking, you are a prat. But just to double check now whether this guy is actually into property, say, "Oh yeah, the interest rates, how's that going to affect you?" If they actually stop for 2 or more seconds, yeah, you know he's full of shit. If you're a property person and you don't know what the current interest rates are likely to be or what you're going to pay, you're full of shit. Fucking hell. Anyway, the next thing, in the time that we've been we've had a new prime minister. I mean, the last one was classic, but this one is already starting at a good pace. And if they make it to Christmas, God bless her. The some of the policies that are coming already now are just ridiculous. The rich are getting richer. I mean, like, you don't even, at the end of the day, as long as you got food on the table, thank God for that. Everyone's safe and well. That's good. But now we're getting to a serious situation where we barely don't know whether we can afford to put the heating on. All these energy conversations are getting scared, and then now you're hearing with new policies that the rich are getting richer, and you're thinking, hang on, my wallet's getting emptier and emptier. What kind of correlation is this? She only just come in, then the queen dies. I mean, that's like a whole podcast on its own. That was mad. So she passes away, and everyone knew something was going on. Like, she ain't been well for a while. She hasn't been moving around. And my personal opinion is, like, at the end of the day, their family, they do what they do, and they got lucky, part of the royal family. Good luck to him. It's just the roll of the dice. It's the cards you get. But then when you hear Apare Bande start talking about, yeah, but what do they do? They don't pay no tax and stuff. Mate, you're a shopkeeper. Mate, you're a business person. You're scamming tax every day. So you can't be on this moral high ground and saying she's doing this or that family does that. Look at your own look at your own house to start off with. So dodge. So even when you start to calm down and you just look at the news again. I looked about 2 days ago. I don't even actually. Let me just double check when it came out. This story because I was like, what? Hang on, what date's it today? Okay, a day ago. About NASA flies a spacecraft into an asteroid. Now I don't know about you. I've watched this film a million times. I know how this story ends. When they put rockets into asteroid, it doesn't work. And then all of a sudden, because of the fragments, it causes other problems. I'm like, the world is on fire right now. We don't need to speed it along. Yeah, let's cut that back. We don't need to start firing shit into space, making sure that it doesn't hit us, or in fact, it might actually hit us. I mean, I got nothing to say again for that one. Then what we see, linking back to the interest rates, the pound starts falling. It's crashing, like to the point where I think £1 is 88 rupees. I think my favorite bit is now when people are going to go to India, they're going to be sitting there saying, "What have you bought for me? What presents can you get me? You buy me a suit. I can't afford it." You're going to start seeing people moving back to India soon, collecting on that Jameen or having a look at least what they've owed. Then that's going to be a very interesting conversation to start off then. Speaking of the conversations as well, I think it's a fantastic time now where we get our social media timelines back again. When we're not going to be dominated on the stories looking at people's weddings. I think, looking at timelines and thinking, "Oh shit, man! I wish I was that wedding." I mean, look at the way the centerpieces has been designed. I wonder what supplies. Nobody gives a shit. If you're organizing a wedding and you're looking at testimonials or you're looking at the supplier list that who right in the bottom of a post, forget it, mate. Forget it. You deserve to be ripped off. You got enough people around you to ask you these questions. They look when you see parties design, they're only going to show you the best bits. They ain't going to show you the bit when it's rutty, when it's fucking empty, or when there's some drunk uncle on the dance floor. Actually, to be fair, they do. There is a lot of content in that, but I think it's now that you have to understand in that industry, they're family people as well. They deserve to have their own timelines back now. So I think it's nice when everyone kind of calms down and then saves it all for next year. Because it was always the best thing. If you haven't been to anybody's wedding, just go on the supplier's timeline and you'll see everything. You can know who the makeup artist is, who's supplying the car, who the door players are, who's the DJ, who's the singer, what color the napkins are, and what sabji and what meat has been chosen. You'll also see those little kids sliding on the dance floor, that wrecking that designed dance floor that they paid so much money for, but people only see for about 2 minutes. Just on rants and stuff again. What I've been seeing is I don't know what actually triggered it off. To be fair, I just had I think when I've done these podcasts, I've made it very clear about my thinking around charities and how they should be working. They're really quick to pat themselves on the back now, and yeah, fair play. They've done a lot of hard work, but I think we're at the stage now where we need some strategic coordination. Everything's a fundraiser. Everybody needs to come together and come with a strategic plan, because the amount of money that you see get wasted on stuff, we need to come together and say, right, listen, something, you're an expert in mental health. Why don't you go and do this bit? Okay, you're a specialist in domestic violence. Why don't you look after it and put a strategy together? Everybody coordinate and come together, and we should be able to have a framework that is successful. And what was the tipping point for me was that I've been part of this mixy and chill movement, right? Mixy and chill movement with Soul Tavern, who being the first kind of pub to go ahead and actually risk it to say, yeah, look, we get these kind of clients coming in. We want to be there to help and support. And they've partnered up with another organization called Charities. I've been in the background trying to put all our support in, and it's been no money involved. It's just us three getting together, trying to work our initiative. And to be fair, we've had other pubs who are interested in it to support us, which was really good. Now, they filmed a little short clip which went onto TV. The reaction was good, but it should have been better. I'm not saying from my point of view. I'm saying for those organizations like Draki, like Soul Tavern, who doing the hard work, right? That is where coordination, where people should be phoning in, should be contacting those companies, those individuals, and saying, "How can we help and support?" But if you put a meme of some geezer dancing in the middle of the town to a song, or some next man singing, doing some stupid dance on TikTok, that gets all the glory. The algorithm to support our own and support communities, other communities, just doesn't exist. And what should be championed and celebrated just gets lost in the noise with everything else. And it really pissed me off because I was like, you've got influencers. And while I was talking about the social media timelines, it's all coming back now, is that those people who you expect who've got the platforms to share information, to reach out to other people, they don't do shit. They don't do it. But like, are they accountable for it? So are they to blame for it? No, but I think what we should be doing is helping any initiatives that people are doing to bring it all together. And that's where, the kind of the charity angle, influencers, all these kind of, I mean, I don't even know what influencer means really, but I think somebody with a big following. I think maybe it's my fault. Maybe I expect a little bit, expect a little bit more. But it just makes you reflect on as you're getting older. And I think because I'm hitting this milestone, it hasn't really bothered me anymore. But it's just made me think of things that are important, to me and the way that I think. And some things that are kind of gone now. It's like I know, like for a long time, like I've never been to the freshers parties, or even when I was involved in the DJing side of stuff. Like I'm too old, man. You'll be like, you and your boys can't go to those venues anymore if there's a club night because you look like the old Buddha in the corner. That's finished. And so when the new round of these freshers kind of gigs come up, you're just like, technically, I'm old enough to be people's dads in there, and you're like, this just hits home, where you're thinking, nah, you could even if an artist comes over and you want to see him, and you're desperate to see him, and then there's only a club freshers gig where you can see him, I can't go, can't do it, and then vaping. I'm actually going to stop on vaping. That'll be on a separate podcast where I'll come out because there's some new evidence and stuff around that, and it's more of a social issue. So maybe I'll get Prash or Wax or someone to come on, and then we'll have a good discussion around that. But then it just makes you think as well, like, as a almost old Buddha, like I feel great, but then what's coming up? So we've got the World Cup. And looking at the England team, people are going to be really, really upset because they ain't going to do shit based on what they've done now. Something really needs to change really quickly if they're going to be in with a chance of actually trying to win the World Cup or get close to winning it. Because you could be in the semi-finals, but you could lose 4-0, and if you're crap, it make no difference. They're a quarter-final, semi-final team, but they're looking all over the place. It looks, I don't know, man. So we're expecting, a lot of people are going to have their hearts broken, just like when they found out Santa weren't real, that England ain't going to win it at this moment in time, because I don't want this to come back and bite me, just in case if they do. And then it's Christmas. I went shop today. I went to B&M Bargains, and they had 2 aisles full of Christmas stuff already. I remember I'm at October, baby. I remember you wouldn't even see nothing, not even anything red. You would see nothing around Christmas till at least December, like even 2 weeks before December. But now these guys have been blasting at Christmas. They had a Christmas song on in B&M Bargains. And I thought, I don't know what's going on, man. The world is on fire, and I don't know if we need to jump off the bandwagon now or jump off to escape. So I'll leave you with that. And thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the messages, by the way, that I get. I really appreciate it. And then when I get randomly sort of said, "Oh yeah, I heard you talking about this," and I'm like, I can't remember, but fair play. Like, share, subscribe. I don't actively say all of that, but I do put it up in the tags. So I really appreciate it. Also, on a note, a big shout out to new people who are on the podcast platforms, new episodes, new shows and stuff like that. I really enjoy it and keep going. It's good for the scene. There's loads of people who I've learned from, and they do their stuff, I do my stuff, and you got new people coming on. It's a really active scene. I think the more that we collectively move forward, have these kind of discussions and raise and interviews and stuff like that, is good for everybody. So I'll leave you on that note, and I'll see you when I'm 40.